I think dating in South Florida is a little difficult because it's not just that people have more options, but South Florida people are more independent and they enjoy a lifestyle that's filled with adventure, right? Yeah. If you're living in New York, it like gets cold, you want to huddle down for the winter, and it's like easier to have a kind of have. Here, it's like adventure. You're out every night. There's something going on, and dating can be tough. When I first moved here, I'm like, I'm gonna go to the church, and I'm gonna join a singles group in the church, and I did, and I dated out of the church. But it was still so difficult. I was dating two girls at the same time out of the same singles group, and I went to church one day to one of the services, and both of them sat next to me, one on the side and one on the other.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, and they just kept staring at each other. I'm like, I don't think this is what God had intended. Really not. Yeah, or maybe it was. I don't know. I was like, there's going to be a cat fight in the aisle at the church. So shout out to Christ Fellowship.
Like a church, yeah.
But it's tough. I think it's tough and plus you're talking about like you're healed. People are healed or on their healing journey, and then you meet someone who's like not even close to healed.
Right.
How do you? And then you're like, well, I really like them, and I think as a woman, typically you're like, I could heal you.
Right.
It's like, oh no, you can't.
You can't. No.
We are unhealable.
No, everybody has to do. I think
you got to do it on your own.
Exactly, and everybody has to be open to always working on themselves. I think that I find that that's like one of the things too with dating too, is that I find with some people, like friends of mine, that they'll date from here, they'll date from date, and then they never really. They either repeat the same patterns or they never take any time to break and work on themselves. Like when I'm single, I work on me. And I think about what is it that I could be that maybe it was a mistake this time that I need to really dig. Why was I acting this way? What was this happening? And I take the time. Now I'm fortunate because I was depressed and I was in the hospital, so I was forced to do this therapy. So I'm comfortable with it. Comfortable in all the time with talking about those things and having therapy, but a lot of people don't feel that way about therapy or doing the work. They don't want to look at themselves because it can be hard. Looking at yourself and digging deep can be tough. It can be.
It's okay to accept that you're everyone's broken.
Right.
To some degree.
Yeah. Right.
Some more than others, but it's okay to be like, oh yeah, I'm broke. I'm broken as they come. But always be ABH, always be healing.
Yeah.
Okay? It's okay. We're all every person in here is broken to some degree or another. Yeah. And you just accept it. It's okay.
We're always growing. It's like that growth mindset. I always say growth mindset. I'm growing every day. Every day. And even, it's always thinking improve on. And boundaries are important. So it's great that you're good at that.
Even when I was partying too much in California and New York, my friends back then, though, we were all going through that together. We knew we were broken, and that's why we were doing that.
Right.
The nights when we would come back from the bar, we would all come back to my house, but there was a sense of safety and community in that.
Right.
We had each other.
Right.
We were lost souls, but we were together.
Yeah.
And it felt safe. And a lot of times they would sleep over. That's how I met my husband. That's how I met my husband, from being just in the same group of friends in New York that would all end up going back to each other.
Right.
And Two Gold, shout out to Two Gold, where dreams are made. That was in the financial district, obviously after 9/11, that they had rebuilt that area.
Right.
I was all about living in a floor-to-ceiling window building, and I could afford it. And FIDE, we called it, in 2007.
Yeah.
And then I lived there in 2007, and then in 2008 I needed a new roommate. And I met, I met Carolyn Landis, who went to law school with Charles, and so that's how we met. But
it's great.
Anyway.
Wow.
We lived in LA right up the block from each other at different times.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah. Boulevard between Sunset and
out.
Yeah.
right by the Kodak Theater, so he knows my pain of sometimes if there was something going on at the Kodak Theater, the Oscars, it would be closed. We couldn't get out of our immediate radius.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And you just didn't know back then. It's not like we had the internet. I was there before him. I think I was there in 2003. And so we just missed each other. But
that's so funny.
And LA was a blast.
Yeah, it was.
It was amazing.
And that was back in the day of Viper Room, and again Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie. They had reality shows. Those were the it girls that were out. They were our age. And reality TV just started, and it was funny because I had just missed, unfortunately, my time in the modeling, all that stuff. Because when I started to model, they were like, oh, you're too commercial. Like, it was like, yeah, I know. I grew up watching Cindy Crawford. I want to be like them. No, like that time's over. It's now
really?
it's like Eastern Europeans took it over in the early 2000s. So that, and the heroin chic and everything. So I kind of missed that. And
the
then when I
heroin
went to
chic.
LA.
Yeah, it's literally called heroin chic.
That's amazing.
And then when I went to LA, they were like, I don't know what we could do with you. Like, maybe you could be the next Phoebe. You're funny, like Phoebe from Friends, but reality TV is coming. And I was like, thank God I didn't get into reality TV when I was drinking and partying, because I'd just be a joke today.
Oh, gosh.
They asked me, the Jersey Shore was supposed to be the Hamptons, and they wanted to cast me, but thank God the Hamptons shut it down. They were like, you can't do that.
Is that something that you would be interested in, though? Like, would you be interested in having a reality show? The reason why I ask that is because I say it all the time about myself. I'm one of those people, like, I'm accident prone. Things happen to me, the strangest things happen to me, and then I repeat them to people, and they're like, that didn't happen to you. And then you know it, too. Like, it's like so bizarre. Like, I'm one of those people, and I always say, I'm like, I really do need a reality show, but I don't want to be on it. And that's what I say, because I really do, because it's like, you can't believe some of the stuff that happens to me, and like, but I wouldn't want to be on it.
No.
Reality's tough. My production company, we developed so many reality concepts, and even had like bidding wars at the networks, and then just none of them went. You're right there. You're right there.
Right.
And I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars developing reality TV. And they're a lot of fun, but they really are exhausting. Like,
I'm sure.
Every moment of your life, you still have your cycles of filming.
Right.
But what you see mostly on TV isn't real. They say it's non-scripted, but it's very scripted.
I'm sure.
Everything we did was very scripted,
Well, you're going to sway them for a certain direction if you want to get a certain reaction or an outcome.
Yeah, 100%. But like what you guys are doing with the branding and, building those types of, branding platforms, like there's a lot of that is that's all reality based, right? There's so much you can do with that though, so I really like when I first got to LA back in 2011, you started seeing these unique transitions that were happening, and I jumped right. I went there to act, but I was like, I don't want to wait on lines, so I'm going to produce. And I'm just going to put myself into my own films, and that's what I did. But I got into distribution first because I wanted to learn, but you started to see like what was happening with streaming videos, and I was like, everything's going to be taken over. Everything is going to be completely different.
Right.
So it's interesting seeing the transition over the last, 12 years and how things have radically changed.
Right.
Yeah, and then, but I also was a talent manager. Jason was one of my talents. He was on a, hit reality TV show.
Oh, okay.
But a lot like PR, management is like getting the call at 4 a.m. You know how many times I had to go and like get my talent out of police stations? I'm not joking. I am not joking.
That's great.
That was the best part about being a manager, and that's LA. It's like, where did he get into a fist fight? What police station is he at? All right, I'll be right down there.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so fun.
I would not have liked that.
I think it's funny though, because it's like it makes for good stories. Everyone has a journey.
Everyone has a journey, and then being like a guy from New York, I had some really like rowdy actors, and it was like, all right, so tonight, most likely there's going to be a fight, and I'm going to have to drag his drunk ass out of this place and get punched in the face for them.
Oh my gosh.
But remember, that's what I always say, the managers help you bury the bodies. The agents just help you get the roles.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we keep you clean, like with the publicist. I'm calling the publicist, I'm like, all right, so we got to keep the shit out of the papers.
Yeah, right.
Get TMZ over here for a nice positive story. Yeah.
Do you remember Entourage?
Of course.
Oh my gosh, I love that show.
That was like around the time where we were in New
Yeah.
York and LA. I remember I had friends in Forest Hills Boulevard, New York, and I also had friends on Sunset Boulevard in LA. So that show felt so real to my life.
Oh.
I think a lot of people in that lifestyle, especially if you're from New York and you have an entourage of people that you go out with all the time, you could relate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when I lived in Long Island, we had every single Sunday, it was the Entourage Sopranos Sunday party.
Same
exact thing.
Exact same thing.
Yeah, and it was just food, booze,
Right, we couldn't
weed.
wait.
Yeah, and then there was the one season with the Flight of the Conchords. I don't know if you remember Flight of the Conchords. That was that comedy series, so they were back to back to back. That was amazing. And then my uncle was in The Sopranos and Boardwalk Empire.
Oh, I love
yeah, so watching, every single Sunday like clockwork.
So the car from Empire was actually at this event I was at recently.
Oh, okay.
And I modeled with the car.
That's amazing.
A big unveiling. The Rob Report did a big unveiling at the airport in Boca, and they had a huge event, and they had the car, that blue car.
Oh, that's amazing.
I modeled in that car for the event, yeah.
Well, if you look right there on the wall in the middle,
yeah,
you'll see my uncle with his hand up. That's a scene from Boardwalk Empire.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
But he was in the last season of The Sopranos.
Get out, I'll show you the picture.
Yeah, he played Butchie, and then he played, I forget the guy's name in Boardwalk Empire.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he was awesome. Old school Italian, grew up in Hell's Kitchen.
Love that.
Went out, he left the world the way he came in, fighting like an animal. Yeah, he's got amazing LA stories. But yeah, it's cool that we both have similar LA stories. I mean, the whole goal here, Plant-Based Mafia, I told Jason, I said, I'm dragging his ass from LA. You're going to come and help me open Plant-Based Mafia. I'm going to build the $1 billion plant-based franchise, restaurant chain, whatever. We're going to exit out in 5 years, and then we're going to go make our own movies. Like, going to go start a horror film production company. I mean, I'm in development of a great concept right now. We've been writing the script for 5 years. It's about true story about a bunch of kids who robbed the set of Goodfellas in 1989, and then it set them on this crazy path that changed their life forever. 100% true story.
Wow.
But it's like, once we're done with this, we're going to go back and we're going to start doing film production and TV production, and we're going to pay for it ourselves. And we're going to do it the right way, like low budget. I don't want to win an Academy Award. I want to just be involved in the art form of creating film.
Yeah.
And like horror films, I love. And we could film them for under $750,000 with no-name actors, and you'll have all of that fun with these great people that love horror films, and then you just go sell it, make a little bit of money, and do the next one. And that's like, it will just be like, it's just an art form, right? But it will be like a hobby where we make just a little bit of money, but I'm also helping develop careers. So I will manage the talent, and the ones that are great, I will manage and help push their careers. Like, that's our 5-year plan. Like, get the heck out of here, done. Spread the plant-based, lifestyle to as many people as we can. Be a great ambassador of the plant-based lifestyle, and then go back and start shooting films. Retire at a nice young age, and then filmmaking isn't work. It's just like it's a wonderful hobby.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So when did you open it here?
2020, 2021, March 15th, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, so there will be, this March will be 3 years. Or was it 2020? I keep forgetting. But it was right, like, there will be 3 years. Jason, when did we open up originally? Our first, was it 2020 or 2021? 2021. So 3 years. Our anniversary will be March 15th, 3 years.
3 years. Wow.
3 years. We opened up in the middle of COVID. Here.
So when I first moved here and started my life here in South Florida, I had to start over. I had to make new friends and build my own circle and community and get to know the community and decide where I was going to go with my brand and what direction. And I was just starting to meet friends, and then COVID hit. And I was like, no, because I was like, at least when you're stuck in your home and the whole thing, like, you have people to call. I had no one to call because I didn't have any friends and stuff. But it was funny because that was the time when I actually called all these photographers because they were out of work. I was out of work, and I was like, let's play. And that's when I learned to model. Yeah, because they had the time and I had the time, and I figured that was smart. So I just kept rolling. I kept working the whole time. Yeah. But I also made friends that way because that was a big hit.
So listen, we're all like entrepreneurs. Why don't you, like, whoever's watching this video is going to be millions. For the type of work that you do, where could people find you? Where can if they want to come and see you online? How could they reach you? You got an email address? Where can we find Kelly?
At PR by Kelly O'Shea. And they can reach out to me at kellyoshayepr@gmail.com. What about you, Reina?
Well, you can find me at Reina Kendall Public Relations at Instagram and on Facebook. I'm also I'm on LinkedIn as well, and I'm on. You can email me at Reina Kendall at. Oh, I messed it up. This is bad. I messed it up. I messed it up.
That's all right.
Can we cut it?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, just start over.
Oh,
Say it again.
okay. So you can reach me at Reina Kendall Public Relations on Instagram and on Facebook, and also my email is Reina's